President Obama making it clear today about who he thinks carried out the presidential election cyber attack and what it means for Americans.
The intelligence that I've seen gives me great confidence in their assessment that the Russians carried out this hack. I'd make a larger point, which is not much happens in Russia without Vladimir Putin. Russians can't change us or significantly weaken us. They are a smaller country, they are a weaker country, but they can impact us if we lose track of who we are.
Joining me now, Danielle, McLaughlin, Betsy Woodruff, and Alexander Bolton. Betsy, let me start with you. That was a very interesting press conference where the blame was laid at Russia's feet, the media's feet, who was obviously obsessed with that great news, and even to a degree, Hillary Clinton. Barack Obama himself, though, didn't get any of the blame.
Right, and it's interesting, too, that Obama pointed so sharply at the way that the media covered the presidential campaign cycle, almost suggesting that the coverage was overwhelmingly critical of Hillary Clinton rather than being also significantly tough on Donald Trump. I mean, I covered this campaign. My outlet covered it very, very closely, and I wrote a lot of stories about WikiLeaks because those emails were interesting and newsworthy. However, we also did tons of coverage of Donald Trump. I think the president's suggestion that there wasn't enough critical and dirt-digging focus on Trump is itself probably not correct at all.
Yeah, Alexander, on one hand, he tried to dismiss the whole thing, talking about John Podesta's risotto recipe, but he was pretty pointed about the fact that he felt Hillary Clinton was treated unfairly, although there's no doubt at all that Donald Trump received the overwhelming share of negative news, whether it was from tapes from years ago, whatever it was. The media was at war with Donald Trump over this, but I think it all misses the point. The Dems killed themselves in this thing because it was their words, it was their emails, and they weren't the people that they have been telling the rest of the country that they were, it felt like.
Well, the criticism from Democrats is that Putin tried to sway the election towards Trump because Russia had the goods on the Clinton campaign, what was going on behind the scenes. They also hacked the RNC. This has come out in recent days, but did not divulge that information. But there's no evidence, however, that any of that information was particularly damning. I mean, the media reports say that the information that was gleaned from the RNC had to do more with logistics and sort of basic party stuff, whereas the stuff that the Clintons had was more explosive. On the other hand, I don't think there's a lot of doubt, at least amongst Democrats, that Putin certainly was rooting for Trump. And
why do you think he was rooting for Trump?
Well, just look at the information that was released. I mean, he had a grudge against Clinton. He felt that Clinton played a role in undermining his authority by promoting pro-democracy groups in Russia. He was not a fan of the State Department promoting the Orange Revolution in Ukraine. So he felt that Clinton was out to get him.
Danielle, here's the thing. Ultimately, what the voters didn't, I don't think the voters focused on how they got the information, but what the information contained. It was brutal. It painted an ugly picture of a party that said they were for all people. They dissed a lot of people. They showed a lot of racial bias in some of these comments. Certainly, trying to steal the election from Bernie Sanders. I mean, this thing was damning throughout. So I think the Democrats are making a huge mistake here. Probably should let the whole thing go somewhere and huddle up. Which, by the way, I think I heard Barack Obama echo that same sentiment.
Look, politics is a really, really dirty business, and I suspect if we'd seen RNC emails from the time that Donald Trump accused Ted Cruz's father of being associated with the assassination of the man who killed John F. Kennedy, we would have seen some pretty ugly emails then. I take your point, there were some terrible things that were said, and this was a big reveal, and people didn't like it. I think that if we'd seen the same on the RNC, this would have been a slightly different story. But ultimately what matters here is that a foreign state tried to interfere in our election. And whether you believe that it was for Donald Trump or against Donald Trump, that's the thing that matters. And I really think this is not a partisan issue, this is an American issue.
Do you believe that it made the difference, or was there a whole lot of other reasons why Hillary Clinton lost?
There are a number of reasons why Hillary Clinton lost, but that is certainly one of them.
All right.